Hello and welcome. It is the 27th day of April 2019. All bets, trades, and of the such is within each his own risk and their own reward. And oh boy, am I doing the risk and the strategy. And as the title states, hundreds of times gain. Oh, that's if the that would be unlucky if all it is just 100 or 2 or 300 times gain. When we go from now to when times get really good, which is well, let's just look at Bitcoin from a super long-term point of view, and I'm talking about the next great rally. So just like in this one here, when Bitcoin went from 11 to like 1100, that was a 100x gain, and from this low here of 200 to 18,000, that was not quite a 100x gain, but pretty darn near close. And would we be in store for another? Well, even a 50x gain from the bottom, even should be fine. 30x gain, but to get thousands and thousands of times return. Yeah, I think it would have to get to close to 100,000. But yeah, thousands of times return. Is that possible? Is it realistic? Well, let me explain more so to the reason why. Of course, having Bitcoin going to those supreme levels is a essential part of the process. Okay, first off, chart action in here. See on the weekly chart. Well, this is the end of the third week, so 3 pause weeks. Holding in there after this good green candle breakout from the 18. And the daily chart remains hanging in there after the Bitfinex and Tether news information. Not good news for Tether, but that's not Bitcoin related. It's far as that's Tether related. And right now, holding in so far after that move. There's really no more required for me to go through these charts. For now, the rest of the way, let's try to figure out why 100 times, 1,000 times, 4,000 times. Heck, if you're good, you could do 10,000 times maybe. Oh, that would be impressive, but that will be difficult. Maybe 100,000 times. Okay, let's not jump the gun. Let's not get overexcited or think unrealistic here. And in estimating the expected return for a huge pop, the first thing I do is in trading. I'm talking about first your trading strategy. Trading two coins against each other. Yes, it could be Bitcoin and something else the standard way with a normal order book. Two coins together is like GRS and Theta, DGB and Litecoin. Those are the things that I'm talking about. Although Litecoin does have lower volatility. In trading coins, you want each over a good period of days within the market, like 150 days plus. And finding coins that not only go up at once with great volatility and having key pump and dump moments at different times from trading pairs. And getting 3 to 10 times gains on your trade of coins over a good enough amount of days 150, 200, 300, 400, however it may take to get to where it gets really, really fun, which is when coins are way overextended to the upside. That's totally realistic. So there you go. You build your portfolio with a trading strategy that I talk about. And then the value of the altcoins is higher. Because here we're talking about coins that are 2,000 Satoshi. That'll be like 7,000 or 20,000 or 40,000. 5x, 10x, and even 100x have been done before and should be done again. Theta, I put in quotations or asterisks. I think Theta, my price objective for Theta is to go well above into the six figures, or million Satoshi rather, point oh, yeah, over a million Satoshi, or B, at about over a ratio of under 100 to 1 with Bitcoin. That's another way of putting it. And that would take like 100x gains. And then if you then have the coins are worth about 7 times higher, we'll say, meaning you've gained the coins have just went up 7 times more. But on average, we'll say within the two. So if I've already gained 5 points or 5 times the amount of coins, and those coins are 7 times higher in value, that's 35 times in value. But that doesn't even count the dollar value. So how much is Bitcoin up since this point? We'll say from 5,000. If Bitcoin rises to 125,000, and That would be 25 times from 5. Now, 25 times 35 is 875, not quite 1,000. But if all you're able to do is get about 5 times gains and your markets only go up 7 times, you could do better than that, especially if you get a lot of days. Like 400, 500 kind of deal before it happens. So let's just assume you just started playing and you invested $210 to start. You put half of it in Theta and the other half in GRS. And Bitcoin's around 5,000. So you got a little over 200 bucks in the game. But then many days, weeks, and months go by, maybe 200, 400 days, and you now have 1,400 Theta, only 400 more. But the price has significantly gone higher, like 3.5 times. And GRS has actually barely decreased in price, but you have like 8 times more than that. Well, you're obviously selling more Theta than and then buying into GRS when ratios do that. And if Bitcoin prices go up 3 times higher and your trading has managed to increase there as far as your coins and its gains as well with Theta, you'd be worth 3,500. You're already about 15x up. And then you get key date one. This is when we're at like distribution modes. This is like Bitcoin going from 10 to 20,000 before. So you're at the point where you really should be considering to do major profit taking. But we'll just say you have 900 Theta, not 1,400, not 1,000 that you start. You actually have less. You have 900 of them. But the price point has went to 120,000 or so. Maybe that's my prediction to go 6 figures. So under 1,000 to 1, so hundreds of one, I guess. Uh, 100 to 1 sounds right. But 100 to 1, I think the ratio should go to. But this, in this case, at 120, it would be about 700, 800 to 1. However, throwing that part aside, if the price was like 2,000 Satoshi now, and it's 120 later, well, that would require a gain of about 60 times to do that. But those I believe are so realistic and so possible to happen. And then in a case like that, let's just assume you have GRS, the price is up to 14,000, and you have 15,000 of them, like 7.5 times more, but you've been selling Theta over and over, probably recently, because most likely in a situation like this, Theta would have just rose from like 40 or 30 or 20,000 to 120 pretty quick. And you would have just been sell, 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 or you probably would have went from like having like 4,000 of them to 900 pretty quick, or 3,000 to 900 pretty quick. And then maybe 2 days later, even the next day could be this here, or maybe 5 days later, maybe a week later, whatever, 2 weeks later. Bitcoin prices just went up 50% to 125, and you were at 264,000 here. Thus, you've already went over 100 times. And in this one in here, we got Bitcoin at 125, and now you got 2,220 Theta worth 80,000 because if markets go up and down at different times, this can work out very, very well. And then you have 12,000 GRS because you would have just sold 3,000 for 1,320. That would have been your last trade right there. That's one trade. And the net value of your portfolio, and maybe like again, like 6 days, maybe 10 days, you can see it go from 264 to 731 pretty damn quick. Or at least the value of your particular crosses of two coins. You can see OMG, Omi's Go maybe might be one of them. I don't know, but you can see 3, 4, 5, 6x gains on your bankroll really fast when you have these phenomenal kind of rises. And like from 3,500 to 731 is 20x or excuse me 200x just from that. And from 210 to 730,000, well 100x would be 21,000. 1,000 would be 200,000. So that's like what 3,000 times gains we could probably talk about. Yeah, not bad. And then we'll just assume the decline happens, markets go down. At least if it's anything esque like it was before, where in 2017, December, January, everything went up and then everything went down. So you have a decline. Bitcoin goes back to where it came from, we'll say, the 20,000 number, our last resistance. That's a 6 plus X decline. Your theta, you had 2,200, you should easily gain like 10 times more, especially if you're only gaining two and a half or, excuse me, three and a third times more GRS. But to see theta go from 80,000 to 6,400 and lose like 12 times its value against Bitcoin, which means it would be losing like 70 times its value against the dollar. Okay, well, that's just how it goes, I guess. And then to see GRS go from 34,000 down to 4,600, well, so it goes. And you can see your portfolio in a spot where Bitcoin goes down 7 times would go down 10 times plus. But again, the value of theta went way down. The value of GRS went way down. The trading you would have done along the way would have saved you from the losses in comparison just holding these coins instead, as you can imagine how much worse that would be. But making sure that when you get into these levels to profit take the coins, turn them into precious metals, use the cryptos as form of spending money as cryptocurrencies are designed to be. That's I think the best way of putting it. But a few more notes along the way to help within some of these moves. And talk about different conditions that could come up. So situations to sell against Bitcoin in a two-way dance. So say you're trading against Theta and GRS together, buying one, selling the other, so on and so forth. Well, say we're in conditions like today, no major bull markets, and not everything together is going up. So a lot of things are 3% up, 1% down, 2% down, or everything's barely up or barely down. But Theta is 1940, we'll say, and GRS is 6250 on the close. And the next day, Theta goes up to 2689, and GRS is breaking 9,000. And your ratio, which was 3.22, is up to 3.35 or up 7.1%. And when I talk about trading things back and forth, I'm looking for 20, 30, 40% moves against each other. In cases, I'll take, for me, because I trade every day and I'm on the computer all the time, there's some crossings, I'll trade 15, 16, 17% moves, but that's as low as it goes. But here's a spot where when markets go up big, you're selling them, and when they go down big, you're buying them. When a spot like this, if the ratio were to go up, you pretty much would need to sell both coins against Bitcoin and then just hold them in Bitcoin. And then when both the coins come down, you can buy it back like normally. So if, say, the theta, which was at 2689, if it goes down below 2000 or around there, you can buy it back. And if GRS goes back down to the 6000s, you can do it. And maybe the next day, one of the coins breaks down, then you can decide, well, I can trade one on the ratio. But to me, that's one of the best ways of doing it is just selling it against Bitcoin and wait for the lower price. And then you have the dartboard rally. That's where everything goes up at the same time. And there was the examples from March to June of 2017. And then 2 months starting in December 2017 as well. I mean, 1 month in April of 2018 as well. I call that the April Fool's Rally. That's when everything collectively goes up. Over a decent amount of days and weeks, coins are up a lot. 4 times, 8 times, 30 times across the board. It really doesn't matter too much, like every single coin. And that's not like a tether or anything like that anyway, but every single regular altcoin just has superior gains against Bitcoin. And in situations like that, then you just need to be like, okay, wait a second. You need to sit back. Yeah, your ratio is doing its thing. And you've had times where you're trading it back and forth, and that's what you're supposed to do. It goes from 40 to 60, you make your trade, or it goes from 60 to 40 or whatever. But then you just look back and say to yourself, okay, wait a second. I got this one coin that's up 2.5 times. This coin is up 3 times. Maybe I should take a little of both off the table and look forward to decline against Bitcoin. And when we look at buybacks versus Bitcoin, which should be designed for serious retracements, we've seen these markets go down 2, 3, 4, 5, even 10 times plus lower. And that's normal. So if you're selling 3,000 at something at 1844 Satoshi, you'll get back around 0.055 BTC. But if you're buying 7,500, which is 2.5 times or 150% more, and you're doing so at say 512 Satoshi, it would cost you 0.038, gaining you 4,500 coins, and then 0.017 Bitcoin, which is probably used for something during a profit taking situation. Maybe you bought your wife something special, or your husband, or you just bought yourself this, or you bought yourself some precious metals, or whatever. But that would be your thing. Like, okay, I'm going to sell it for 5.5. I'm going to leave 38 of it to buy back, and I'm going to take 17 of that remainder and then just do something with it. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, please post them, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And have yourself a great day and weekend. Bye bye.